Om 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 Yadagni Dahika Shaktihi Ramakrishne Stitahiya Sarva Vidya Swarupam Tam Sharadam Pranamamyaham. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Our dear and revered Swami Saradaprabhanandaji Maharaj and dear devotees, I am extremely glad to be here for this evening satsang. We had our revered Swami Saradaprabhanandaji staying with us at our Johannesburg sub-center for some years, and he served our center with utmost dedication and selflessness, so much so that when he left, he was a vacuum, and I am also missing his presence. Today I feel extremely consoled in a way to come here to the satsang, to be with him in this prayer meeting and to participate in these prayers. Today I want to take one topic very briefly and discuss it. Generally in life we have moments of happiness, hopefully more moments of happiness, but we also have, realistically speaking, moments of sadness and weaknesses that overcome us during the course of our life. There are weaknesses of the human body, but more especially that of the mind, which is caused by overpowering, weakening thoughts that arise in our mind, and they render us even paralyzed to act, to be motivated to act, to continue with our work, and to achieve success in whatever we want to achieve. Now, everybody's experience of weakness from time to time goes on and it brings its own results. However, there are remedies for these weaknesses. Today, I will just take the advice given to us by two great spiritual masters. One is of ancient times, that is Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, and the modern spiritual master, Swami Vivekananda, on this topic of overcoming weaknesses. When Arjuna, one of the greatest warriors of ancient fame, was overwhelmed with grief on the Kurukshetra battlefield, Lord Krishna quickly took control of the situation and told him, in the famous verse in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, "Yield not to unmanliness, O Partha. It does not befit you to do so. Cast off this mean weakness of heart. Stand up, O scorcher of foes." Now this verse in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, many of us have read it, many of us have attended classes where we listen to discourses expounding this verse. But not many people pay too much of attention to this. Even in Bhagwan Shankaracharya's commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, they are not particularly commented on this verse in the Gita. But when Swami Vivekananda came, he drew our attention and told us that this is perhaps one of the most important verses in the Bhagavad Gita. He felt that if we learnt this verse from the Bhagavad Gita and reflected upon it deeply, it would save us from many forms of weaknesses in our mind. This is an important antidote for the cure of weakness. Furthermore, Lord Krishna also told us in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, "Let a man raise himself by his own self alone, and let him not debase himself, for the self alone is one's friend, and the self alone is one's enemy." We are our friend, ourselves, and ourselves, we are our own enemies. So, one of the first steps in the path of recovery from overwhelming weakness prescribed by Lord Krishna, of course, is recognition of the weakness, as Arjuna had recognized it. And secondly, a great effort, self-effort is required to come out of the state of weakness. So Swami Vivekananda's interpretation of this verse is very, very insightful and very, very helpful as well. In Swami Vivekananda's program of releasing ourselves from weakness and traversing this path of strength and courage, he said the first thing we should be doing is prayer. he himself uttered a very famous prayer. It's a famous prayer in his life, perhaps one of the most outstanding prayers in his life. Whenever we read the biographies of saints, we must pay attention to what prayers they uttered. In the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, for example, there are many prayers uttered by Sri Ramakrishna that have given us those prayers. In the Bhagavad Gita also, we find Arjuna uttering many appeals. They are actually prayers to Lord Krishna. Now, Swami Vivekananda's prayer is a prayer to the Divine Mother. O Mother, make me heroic. Just one sentence. This is a great appeal. Prayer is one of the means by which we can overcome these weaknesses. So, prayer was the first step that Swami Vivekananda gave us. Now, he also gave us some other steps, which I'd give due consideration to here. Once a householder disciple of Swami Vivekananda, Saradaprabhanandaji Chakravarti, who was very dear to Swamiji, had told Swamiji, and let me quote his exact words, "Sir, at times I am overcome by low spirits. I don't know how." This is a complaint that people have been making from ancient times. It has been made in Swami Vivekananda's time, and we continue to make this type of claim even today. Swamiji gave Saradaprabhanandaji Chakravarti the following answer. Swamiji told him he was a dear disciple of Swami Vivekananda, initiated disciple, considered to be a son of Swamiji, and Swamiji held him in very great affection. Swamiji gave him a few points to consider on that day, and Saradaprabhanandaji Chakravarti recorded this. Swamiji asked him to think like this. It's a type of thinking he should have to break this attitude and destroy it in the mind. Whose child am I? I associate with him and have such weaknesses of mind and lowness of spirit. Whose child am I means he should ask this question, and he should say that he is a child of Swami Vivekananda. That is what Swamiji meant by this. You are the son of an avatar, son of a great saint, then you should not have this type of fear. Then the second advice he gave him, stamping down such weakness of mind and heart, stand up by saying, I am possessed of heroism. I am possessed of a steady intellect. I am in reality a knower of Brahman, a man of illumination. That is how an initiated disciple should think, have those words in our minds. It will replace the thoughts of fear and weakness in our mind. Then thirdly, Swamiji told him, be fully conscious of your dignity by remembering. What? Be conscious. Don't for a moment let go of your human dignity. That is what Swamiji told him. And what you should remember, I am the disciple of such and such, meaning Swami Vivekananda himself, who is the companion in life of Sri Ramakrishna, the conqueror of lust and wealth. And then Swami Vivekananda gives him this assurance. This, if you think like this, it will produce a good effect. He who has not this pride in the Guru, pride in being a devotee of God, pride in being either servant of God, child of God, son of God, daughter of God, he who has not this pride has no awakening of Brahman, God within him. Haven't you heard Saint Ramprasad's song? Saint Ramprasad sings this song, it is in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Who do I fear in this world, whose queen, the ruler of this world, is the Divine Mother? I am a child of the Divine Mother. So Swamiji said, continued, keep such a pride always awake in the mind. When weakness of mind and heart will no longer be able to approach you. And fourthly, Swami Vivekananda said, never allow weaknesses to overtake your mind. Remember Mahavir, that means Hanuman. Remember the Divine Mother, Mother Kali, and you will see that all weaknesses, all cowardice will vanish at once. So putting these great iconic figures in our mind, replacing it by the thoughts of those thoughts of weakness, it will destroy this whole idea of weaknesses in the human mind. Now, having given these 4 instructions to Sarat Chandra Chakravarti, this gentleman absorbed this, had it recorded in his notebook at that time, and he took it home, reflected upon it for a long time. And if you read his biography also, you will find that after this, he was a school teacher, became very successful, but unfortunately he passed away early. We did not get much more information of him after that. But this piece of information which he has recorded on how devotees, religious people can overcome these weakening thoughts of fear by replacing it in the mind by the strengthening thoughts. It is very, very useful in our lives, very useful in our spiritual lives as well, and it is useful to confront the various challenges that we find in our day-to-day lives and existence. May Sri Ramakrishna bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj, for your captivating address. I now respectfully invite Revered Swami Swatmaramanandaji Maharaj to deliver a talk. Thereafter, Swamiji will render a few bhajans.
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। I bow down at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, Mother Sharda Devi and Swami Vivekananda. My Sashtanga Namaskar to Revered Srimad Swami Saradaprabhanandaji Maharaj, and my heartfelt Namaskar to all of you who have assembled here. I'm very grateful to Revered Saradaprabhanandaji Maharaj for accepting my invitation and coming here to grace this occasion and also bless all of us with his words of encouragement. And also I am humbled by the encouragement he has given to me by his words about my squirrel seva. The squirrel of Ramayana did little work when Hanuman and other Vanaras were building the bridge by bringing in small pebbles and little sand, wetting the tail in the ocean and dipping it in the sand and bringing to the bridge. Though that squirrel did very, very small seva, it is called squirrel seva in India. Rama, noticing that, he blessed that squirrel by putting his 3 fingers on the back. Even now in India, the elders show to the children, see that 3 stripes on the squirrel, on the back of the squirrel, that is the mark left by the blessings left by Ramachandra. Likewise, even though I have done very little work, Maharaj gave that words of encouragement, which will enthuse me to do more work here. Now, coming to the topic here, about which I am going to speak. Before that, I want to take you through some small story. There was one baby mosquito which was born. So it was about to go for its maiden flight. Then it took the blessing of the mother mosquito, and it started about to the maiden flight. It went round, then came back after the flight. It went to the mother. Then mother asked, "How was your maiden flight?" The baby was so happy, the baby mosquito. It was beaming with joy. He told all the people, the human beings who looked at me, who saw me, my beautiful stripes on the body and the beautiful structure of my body, they were all clapping at me. I was so happy, mother. No. By chance, if you had gone in between the two hands of those human beings, the result would have been something different. They were not clapping at your beauty, but they wanted to kill you. So they were trying to hit you, that's all. So you thought that they were clapping at your beauty. That's not so. Likewise, we always think that we are body, the mind, the ego, the bundle of character. That's why, because we identify with these fleeting things, we are in trouble, we have illness, we have pain. Now let me take you through some two stories, important stories, by which you can understand how we can come out of this. What is that we have to identify with? We always hear the word called awareness, mindfulness. So let us see what is this awareness through this story. There was one great master, guru called Nagarjuna, who was in the lineage of the Buddhist monks. A thief came to him. That thief had fallen in love with this master because he had never seen such a beautiful person, such infinite grace. So he asked this great guru, Nagarjuna, "Is there any possibility of my growth, sir? I am a thief and I cannot leave stealing. So please don't make it a condition. I will do whatever you will say, but I cannot give up stealing. I cannot stop being a thief." Now the Guru Nagarjuna told him, "Why are you afraid, my child? Who is going to talk about you being a thief?" Now the thief replied, "But whenever I go to any gurus, any monk, any priest, or any religious saint, they always say to me, 'First stop stealing.'" Now the Guru, great Guru Nagarjuna, laughed, smiled and said, "Then you must have gone to the thieves. Otherwise, why should they be concerned about your stealing? I am not concerned about your stealing." The thief was very, very happy. He said, "Then it's okay. It seems that now I can become your disciple. You are the right master, guru to me." Nagarjuna accepted him and said, "Now you can go. You can do whatever you want. Wherever you want, you can go. But my instruction to you is simply follow one condition." Only one condition. That's all. I can do whatever I want. Yes, only one condition. What is that? Be aware. Always be aware. That's all. That's the only condition. Do whatever you want. He was so happy. The thief was so happy. Only that condition that I should be aware. Nothing else. I can go and steal. Then the Guru told him, simply follow one condition. Be aware. Break into houses, pilfer, steal, do whatever you want. But do that stealing also, any work you do with awareness. The thief agreed and said, "Then everything is okay. I will try to be aware always." After 3 weeks, he came back and said, "Oh, master, you are tricky. When I become aware, I cannot steal. When I become aware, I can't steal. If I steal, awareness disappears. I'm in a fix." Now the Guru Nagarjuna said, "I'm not a thief, therefore I shall not talk about stealing. If you want awareness, then you decide what you want. If you don't want it, then too you can decide. That is left to you." Now the thief said, I have tasted awareness now. It's so beautiful. I will leave anything for it. The other night, I broke into the king's palace. I opened the treasure. I could have become the richest man in the world. I could have stopped stealing after that because that would have been a very big treasure for me. I would have stopped stealing after that. Diamonds, everything, gold, rubies, everything. I could have become the richest man in the world. But when I became aware, diamonds looked like ordinary carbon stones. When I lost awareness, the treasure was there. And I did it many times, but could not even touch those valuable stones because it was no more valuable to me when I was aware. Because the whole thing looked foolish, stupid, just stones. I thought, what am I doing? Losing myself for few stones? Finally, I decided that they are not worth it. I will keep awareness. This is the wonderful story of this thief who became a great saint afterwards by being aware with the help of this grace of this Guru. Now, let us see what is this awareness in perfection, in the highest sense. Then we can come down a little to our level. Let us take the help of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna is in Kashipur. Now, people are coming there and talking to him, asking him questions. Now, Ramakrishna used to tell the devotees that his divine visions and moods were accompanied by the rising of the spiritual current in his body. Now, he talked to Master Mahashaya Yam. Ramakrishna is telling, I don't remember when the current went up. Now, I am in the mood of a child. That's why you see I am playing with this flower this way. Do you know what I see now? I see my body is a frame made of bamboo strips and covered with a cloth. The frame moves, and it moves because someone dwells inside it. Again, I see the body to be like a pumpkin with the seeds scooped out. Inside this body, there is no trace of passion or worldly attachment. It is all very clean inside. Now, Master is continuing. Both inside and outside, the indivisible Sat Chit Ananda, Satchidananda. Sat is infinite existence, absolute. All that exists, everything that exists, infinite existence, absolute. And another aspect of Sat is infinite being. All the living beings, infinite beings, absolute. That is Sat. What is Chit? Infinite consciousness, absolute. Infinite knowledge, absolute. Then what is Ananda? Infinite bliss. That is Satchit Ananda. So Ramakrishna is seeing only Satchit Ananda, existence, knowledge, bliss, inside and outside. I see it both inside and outside. It is merely assumed this upper sheath called the body, meaning his body, for a support, and exists both inside and outside. I clearly perceive this. This is awareness in perfection. Seeing that consciousness, that Satchit Ananda, infinite existence and bliss, everywhere, inside and outside in perfection. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is showing to us. Now, Ramakrishna takes us to the next step. How can you put it into practice? Now, Ramakrishna is telling, I see you all as so many sheets and the heads are moving. I notice that when my mind is united with this, that is God, the sufferings of the body is left aside. Now I perceive only this, the indivisible Satchit Ananda. It's covered with skin, and this sore of my throat, the cancer is on one side of it. Now, Ramakrishna is making another statement. He's telling the attributes of the matter, the dead matter, are superimposed on spirit, and the attributes of spirit are superimposed on matter. Therefore, When the body is ill, man says, I am ill. Now, Ramakrishna makes wonderful statement here. You are all my own. I feel that you are all my own. I can't see the separateness. Do you remember Mother Sharda Devi telling us, my dear child, if you want peace of mind, don't find fault with others. Make the whole world your own. Now you can see Sri Ramakrishna is repeating it at the level of this highest awareness. And what is he telling? I can see that you are all my own. I can't see the separation, because he is saying that, Lord, that Satchit Ananda everywhere. Now, let me, after telling this highest state of awareness, let me take you down to the ordinary level. How can we practice this in our day-to-day level? How can I make you understand this wonderful idea of awareness? By one story in the life of Lord Krishna. Why did Krishna not save Pandavas when they played the game of dice and got into trouble? Yes, let us see that. From his childhood, you know this great character called Uddhava. He had been with Krishna, charioting him and serving him in many ways. He never asked for any wish or boon from Sri Krishna. When Krishna was at the verge of completing his avatar, he called Uddhava and said, Dear Uddhava, in this avatar of mine, many people have asked and received boon from me, but you never asked me anything. Why don't you ask something now? I will give you. Let me complete this avatar with the satisfaction of doing something good for you. Even though Uddhava did not ask anything, a boon for himself, he had been observing Lord Krishna from his childhood. He had always wondered about the apparent disconnect between Sri Krishna's teachings and actions. Again, apparent disconnect. And wanted to understand the reason for the same. Now, taking this opportunity, he asked Lord Krishna, Lord, you taught us to live in one way, but you lived in a different way. In the drama of Mahabharata, in the role you played, in your actions, I did not understand many things. I am curious to understand the reason for your actions. Would you fulfill my desire to know? Krishna said, Uddhava, what I told Arjuna during the war of Kurukshetra was Bhagavad Gita. Today, I will respond to your questions too. Come on, ask. Please ask without hesitation. Uddhava starts asking, Krishna, first tell me, who is a real friend? Krishna says, the real friend is one who comes to help of his friend in need even without being called. Now Uddhava asked Krishna, Krishna, you were a dear friend of the Pandavas. They trusted you fully as a Apad Bandhava, protected from all difficulties. Krishna, you not only know what is happening now, but you know what is going to happen in future. You know past everything. You are Sarvagna. You are the Lord. You are a great Gnani. Just now you gave the definition of a true friend, close friend. Then why did you not act as per that definition? Why did you not stop Yudhishthira or Dharmaraja from playing the gambling, that game of dice? Okay, you did not do so. Why did you not turn the luck in favor of Yudhishthira? By which you could have ensured that righteousness, dharma wins. You did not do that also. You could have at least saved Yudhishthira by stopping the game after he lost his wealth, country and himself. You could have released him from the punishment of gambling, or you could have entered the hall when he started betting his brothers. You did not do that either. At least when Duryodhana tempted Yudhishthira by offering to return everything lost if he betted his wife Draupadi, who always brought good fortune to Pandavas, you could have intervened, and with your divine power you could have made the dices roll in the way it is favorable to Yudhishthira. Instead, you intervened only when Draupadi almost lost her modesty, and now you claim that you gave cloths and saved Draupadi's modesty. How can you even claim this? After her being dragged into the hall by Dushasana and disrobed in front of so many people, what modesty is left for a woman? What have you saved? Only when you help a person at the time of crisis can you be called Apad Bandhava, protector. If you did not help in the time of crisis, what is the use? Is it dharma? As Uddhava posed these questions, tears started rolling in Uddhava's eyes. They are not the questions of Uddhava alone. All of us who have read Mahabharata have this question. On behalf of us, Uddhava might have already asked Krishna. Bhagavan Krishna smiled, laughed. Dear Uddhava, the law of this world is only the one who has viveka, right discrimination, intelligence wins. Did you notice? While Duryodhana had this viveka, Yudhishthira lacked it. That is why Yudhishthira lost. Uddhava was lost and confused. Krishna continued. While Duryodhana had lots of money and wealth to gamble, he did not know how to play the game of dice. That is why he used his cunning uncle Shakuni to play the game while he betted. That is called the worldly viveka, the worldly intelligence. But Uncle Shakuni, who was a deceitful person, could defeat Yudhishthira. Dharmaraja or Yudhishthira also could have taught similarly and offered that place of betting because he was not good at that dice to me. He could have called me his cousin. I would have played on his behalf. If Shakuni and I played the game of dice, who do you think would have won? Can Shakuni roll the numbers I am calling, or would I roll the number he is asking? Forget this. I can forgive the fact that he forgot to include me in the game. But without viveka, intelligence, he did another blunder. What is that? He prayed that I should not come to the hall, as he did not want me to know that through ill fate he was compelled to play this game. This is what we do. We think we can hide from God. Only we are in the temple and other good places, we try to be good. But when we go out, we will become bad. We will do whatever we want. We think God is not with us, God is not noticing. We want to hide everything from God. Now you see that is happening. Dharmaraja or Yudhishthira tied me with his prayers and did not allow me to get into the hall. He didn't want me to come. I was just outside the hall waiting for someone to call me through their prayers. Even when the other brothers Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva were lost, instead of calling me, they were cursing and arguing with Duryodhana and brooding over their fate. They never called me. They forgot to call me. Even Draupadi did not call me when Dushasana held her hair and dragged her to fulfill his brother's order. She was also arguing in the hall based on her own ability. She never called me. Finally, good sense prevailed. When Dushasana started disrobing her, she gave up depending upon her own strength and started shouting, "Hey Dwaraka Vasin, hey Hari, Abhayam Krishna, Abhayam Krishna." She shouted for me. Only then I got an opportunity to save her modesty. I reached as soon as I was called. I saved her modesty. What is my mistake in this situation? Now, Uddhava asks another wonderful, tricky question. Wonderful, Krishna, wonderful explanation. I'm impressed. However, I'm not deceived. Can I ask you another question? Says Uddhava. Krishna gives him the permission to proceed. Does it mean that you will come only when you are called? Will you not come on your own to help people in crisis to establish justice? Asked Uddhava. Krishna now smiled. Uddhava, in this life, everyone's life proceeds based on their own karma, actions. I do not run it. I don't interfere in it. I'm only a witness. I stand close to you and keep observing whatever is happening. This is the dharma. Wow, very good, Krishna. In that case, you will stand close to us, observe all our evil acts. As we keep committing more and more sins, you will keep watching us. You want us to commit more blunders, accumulate sins and suffer? Asked Uddhava. Now the wonderful answer given by Krishna is to be noted, which is very, very helpful. You will find what is awareness, what is mindfulness. Uddhava, Lord Krishna is telling, please realize the deeper meaning of your statement when you understand and realize that I am standing as witness next to you. How could you do anything wrong or bad? when you have the awareness that the Lord is in your heart, He is with you always. If you have the mindfulness when God is there with you. Suppose the child, when the mother or father is there with the child, will the child commit any mistake? No, it can't. When you have somebody elder with you, can you commit any mistake? So when you know the Lord is always present 24/7 with you in your heart always, if you are aware of that, can you commit any blunder? You can't. When you understand and realize that I, the consciousness, the Lord, the witness standing as witness next to you, how could you do anything wrong or bad? You definitely cannot do anything bad. You forgot this and think that you can do anything without my knowledge. That is when you get into trouble. Yudhishthira's ignorance was that he thought he can play the game of gambling without my knowledge. If Yudhishthira had realized that I am always present in everyone, everywhere in the form of witness, then wouldn't the game have finished differently? Uddhava was spellbound and got overwhelmed by bhakti, devotion. He said, what a deep, practical philosophy. What a great truth. Now, while we are praying, doing puja to God and calling Him for help are nothing but our feeling, belief. When we start believing that nothing moves without Him, how can we not feel His presence and witness everywhere? How can we forget this act? Throughout Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has taught this philosophy imparted to Arjuna. He was the charioteer as well as the guide of Arjuna, but he did not fight. He was a witness only. He made Arjuna to fight. He never fought. Realize that ultimate witness within, without you, and merge in that God consciousness. Discover the higher self. Ramakrishna, you saw that, showed it in perfection. He saw that Satchit Ananda in everybody outside, within himself. That's why he couldn't feel the difference between anybody there. Then where is enmity? Where is the question of trouble? Then he also told you, when you identify with this false body, then pain comes in. Otherwise, even though he had the painful cancer, he was happy he didn't have that pain. Why? He identified with that consciousness. So what a wonderful awareness, what a wonderful mindfulness, which we can practice every time. At our level, you can practice the presence of your Ishta Devata. You can keep Sharda Devi, you can keep Vivekananda, you can keep Ramakrishna or Ganesha or Shiva or whomever you want. Let him be witness, always tell everything, do everything in his presence. Then is there a possibility that you can commit mistake? No. Let us practice this wonderful awareness and mindfulness and get the blessings of the Lord. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat.